Go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. November 6th, day number 15. It is so early in the morning. The sun isn't even up, so you can barely see my face. That's good. Getting up before the sun does. Rise and shine, or rise and grind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quick disclaimer. This is a convo between me and Mike. None of this is supposed to be taken as expert advice. That's it. Let's jump into it.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Shots of Info. For today, we have a few interesting topics on the personal development. We are going to talk about game, uh, define it and also see where it goes. Cool. On fitness, we talking about exercise as preventive medicine. And finance, how to determine your net worth, as well some new updates. Cool. So let's jump right in. What is game, Randy? What is
Uh,
game?
so
Explain in your own
yesterday we
world.
were saying that only the people that know what it is, and we weren't going to talk about it.
Right.
But we figure it's a good conversation to have regardless. So, game. Now, this might get some women mad, but we'll see how it goes. So, game is basically the idea of
It's
the
not an idea.
dynamics between. It's a what?
It's not an idea.
It is basically the dynamics between men and women in more of a sexual context and how to kind of go about that. That's basically the most basic definition I can give. There's a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of specifics and details about it that we can jump into, but that's like the basic overview of it.
Yeah. Pretty much is how you interact with a woman that you don't know,
Yep.
and how do you approach her, and how you close on her. Pretty much.
So we
But
should
yeah,
say that the end objective of game is to, you know, get
to
into
take her
bed with
to
that
bed.
person. Yeah.
Hmm.
Thus, that
Now,
is the sexual nature of game.
right, yeah. So it's not specific to like going into a relationship with the woman. It's more like
No.
it's a game. It's like a game. So yeah. It's a sexual interaction between the woman that you don't know yet, and you're trying to get to know pretty
Or
much.
you could. I mean, this could happen at the workplace, or it can happen out at a
Oh yeah,
party
yeah.
or
Oh,
clubs. It can happen anywhere. It's not
but
limited to
most
anything.
right, but most that mainly where you see it is when you're approaching a total stranger. That
Yeah.
defines like the type of game that you're playing, or the type of game that you got as a man. Now, I feel like women also have their own game because they do shit test you most of the time
Hmm.
and try to see how high value are you. But in a men's occasion, you're always the when it comes to game, I feel like you're always the person that kind of chasing the girl because you are putting more work than her.
Hmm.
And I think that's why I stopped doing game. I feel like that just comes out naturally time to time, but
So yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing. Eventually, at some point, when
yeah.
you've done it, you see that it doesn't actively work simply
Hmm.
because the act of chasing pushes them away, right?
Correct.
So you have to be the kind of person that's actually on your purpose and doing stuff rather than just it being specifically about women, which is the problem
Correct.
with
Yeah.
game.
Hmm.
Game basically focuses all your attention on one thing, and that is sex with women. And
Correct.
at some point, if that's the only thing that you're doing, there's no substance there. So once you
Exactly.
get that goal, that's it. What are you about? Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And there's men who does this as a profession, men who literally lives just on game. So the people that you see, like maybe your friends who go to the bars every weekend or maybe every day, who pretty much shoot the shots everywhere, like on a daily basis. Like they can literally go to the mall, not to shop, but just to pick on girls and stuff like that. Those are the type of people that are playing games. And you might see the pattern that they are getting out of their way on their purpose to go and meet a woman, which
Mm-hmm.
in my situation, it becomes a waste of time. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes like it takes away from your goals, and also it can get expensive because you need to, you know, go out and all about like here is about being frugal. No, well, not frugal, but like being financial independent. So that's one of the expenses that it comes with. Now, another aspect that I notice it is that the type of woman that you usually pick on or you talk to, they're not the best type for you, because like we talk, like I always mention, the right girl that you want to be with eventually is the girl that comes into your life and the girl that chases you rather than you chase her. Because if you're chasing her, you pretty much you're giving away all your power as a man, and you pretty much putting her into a pedestal just because of sex. So which, yeah, it becomes a stupid after a while. But we were young. That's why we did it.
So, like
And that's
going
why I
back
did.
to the previous topic we had about how do you approach a girl that you're interested in, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more organic that conversation or that interaction starts off, the better. But with
Yep.
game, it's trying to artificially create an organic entry,
Mm-hmm.
which usually isn't organic, and that becomes a problem because you can kind of feel that. So
Yeah.
the more
Especially if
gamey
your
the
game is
approach
weak,
is, the more problematic it will be later on.
right? And if you're young, by all means, go do it. It's a great experience, in my opinion. But as you grow old, you're going to realize that you have to realize this on your own eventually. We cannot tell you what to do, but I mean, I think um, I kind of like I'm glad that I did it because I got to see the experience and I got to see how it works, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean, you got to see what kind of women you do like and you don't like, right?
exactly, yeah, the type of girl that is your type, because I feel like everybody has a type and you get to see them. But
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
mhm.
Is there anything else to add to that?
Oh,
No,
the
that's
best.
pretty. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll
No, no,
let you talk.
I didn't have anything else.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that you know the best game is the inner game comes in within you. That would be stay on your purpose, have goals, have a purpose in life, and work towards that. And trust me, best game that has worked for me, and I'm sure that has worked for a lot of men out there, because you this this kind of like foundation the woman seeks, and they get attracted because of you, or you because you are doing your own shit rather than you
Mm-hmm.
are getting out of your way to meet a woman and start dating. So yeah.
All right, so I think I've thought of something else we can talk about later on.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of people like getting on their path, their purpose, and doing the things that they have to do, you could
Mm-hmm.
say that there's people like that they have a lot of money, they've done a lot of work, they've done all the schooling,
Mm-hmm.
but they've been instilled with the narrative that all of this is to eventually get to the point where they can have a wife and a family. So, been doing
Oh
all
yeah,
this hard
no.
work, and at the end of the road, they'll be rewarded with a woman that loves them, regardless
I
of
feel
whatever they've done, right? So
mm.
that brings into the question, like, what about those people? But again, we can say that for another time because I can get a little long.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that. I think I have a response for that, but it depends on the type of man that you are, the
Right.
type of lifestyle that you choose, you
Mm-hmm.
aiming for, I guess. But yeah, we can talk about that next time. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it about game, in my opinion. Game
Yep.
is a game,
Game is
and
game.
yeah.
Either you got it or you don't.
Oh wait, actually, yeah. Also, one thing to clarify: woman also has like half game. They also gonna shit test you, and they have this little gonna kind of
Oh, you didn't explain. What's
obstacles
a
on
shit
the way.
test?
Yeah, the shit. I did not explain the shit test was, but we can actually talk about it like the specific topic. But for women, game usually is how pretty they are. If she's pretty, that's what makeup exists. That's why men don't wear makeup to begin with. Well, some men don't, but the for men for women, their game is pretty, relative to how pretty they are. For a man, is how confident you are. Simple as that, I guess.
Hmm.
That's what I can say in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Hmm. Let's jump back. Let's jump into the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise is preventive medicine. I think this kind of details from yesterday's topic.
Yeah, there's all that. Like we keep branching from previous conversations into the next one, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a continuation. So yeah,
Correct.
medicine is preventative, or exercise is preventative medicine. So as I was talking about last time, and you mentioning that, like, cardio is good to do, especially for the long term in terms of your health. So just jumping back into that. So there's a couple different attributes when it comes to the human body. So we have the cardiovascular system, you have your muscle skeletal system, you have, let's see what else, metabolic systems. There's two more that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a couple systems, right?
Digestive.
No, that would go with metabolic.
Oh, neuro with the brain.
Don't worry about it. I can't remember.
Yeah, this is a lot.
This is more related to health and fitness. So within all these systems, all of these things can generally be improved with exercise and nutrition, exercise and nutrition. And the more that you do of that, the better off you will be, because within all these systems, you can usually get pretty sick, actually. So with the muscle skeletal system, you can get things like arthritis or osteoporosis because your bones become weaker as you get older, right? Mm-hmm. But a good way to prevent that is to do strength training or weight training early on in your life to strengthen your bones, along with good nutrition, obviously. In terms of metabolic, you have things like being obese, diabetic. A lot of that is controlled with food. If you can get your food down, then you won't have these issues. So that's kind of what I mean by medicine or exercise is preventative medicine, along with nutrition. Mm-hmm. A lot of the problems that we have today, things like obesity, diabetes, whatever else you can think of, any kind of heart issues, right? So plaque building up in your arteries because of high cholesterol levels. Things like this are usually due to the fact that people are unhealthy in the ways of your exercise and your nutrition. Mm-hmm. So if you can get this down, you won't have these problems.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Now, in my opinion, what exercise is, it's not just the fact that you just go work out your body and that's it. It actually becomes, a habit. And these habits, like we talked about yesterday, they transfer into your lifestyle. So once you go to the gym, once you start exercising, you're more willing to eat healthier. And that it's going to have a huge impact, because remember, what you eat resembles in your body, usually in your face, but like everything that you consume. Now, if you have a consistent workout routine and a good sleep schedule, then that's going to be sure. That's going to put you in the path for a good lifestyle, like a healthy lifestyle. And that's what we talk about, what fitness was at the beginning of this podcast. Well, not today, but in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the other episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, podcast is a lifestyle, and the more that you get into it, the more you become aware about your own body and how you can maintain it. Because your body is like a machine. You need to maintain it you need to maintain it so it can function properly throughout these years. So yeah, you definitely got a good solid points about about the heart and diseases that it can cause in moving on, or being obese or just having weak bones. It's not good. It's not healthy, and you will see later on, if you're not taking at least like a walk for a day, your bones start getting weak, your muscles start getting weak, and you can prevent this just by doing, let's say, like a 1 minute plank, or just walking for like around the block. It's a good start.
So the thing with the exercise and the fitness and all that good stuff is that it builds on itself, right? Like you were saying, you exercise and then you want to eat healthy. You put in that work, so you don't want it to go to waste. So there's that momentum that builds, and that just kind of trickles on top of each other, which is a really good thing, because these are positive habits. Then you decide to get your sleep in order, which gives you more energy, which then leads to you doing more stuff in your day-to-day life, which maybe means you have more energy to put towards whatever other passions you have on the side and hobbies. So again, this all like adds on to each other. So that's why it's a really good thing to get a really strong grasp on your health and fitness. Because otherwise, you're going to wake up tired. You're not going to have energy. You're not going to exercise. You're not going to eat healthy. Because these things, they require energy and you don't have it.
Yeah, there you go. Simple as that, guys. That's why it's very good. That's why we include it here on the podcast as well. And that's why I think they go hand to hand with the personal development when it comes to fitness. It's something that you need on your daily lives. Very good. I think that covers it, unless you have something else to add.
No, that's about it. Get your exercise in.
Cool. All right, so let's see. How can you determine your net worth? So let's start by defining your net worth.
So yeah, right off the top of my head, without any kind of research or anything, net worth to me is basically the sum total of all of your assets. So whatever you have that has value and that's to your name, that is what your net worth is.
Yeah, definitely agree with you, but we're missing one variable. You need to also take accountability, your liabilities. So it's the sum of all your assets minus the liabilities that you have. That would be your total net worth. Yeah, so let's start with assets. What are assets? Assets, they make you money, or they never lose value, like the initial value, or they keep increasing value through time. You want to explain what liabilities are?
So liabilities are usually things that, obviously, the opposite of what an asset is. They depreciate in value over time. They don't really add anything substantial. They have a tendency of depreciating and kind of losing whatever worth they had in the beginning.
To put it in some examples, assets would include your investments on the stock market. It will include any real estate that you own, or let's say you collect like coins, or you collect something that always keep increasing in value. All of those are counted as assets. And then liabilities will be your car, will be your insurance. Well, insurance comes in the car. It will be what else is a liability? Shit.
The only thing I think of is a car that would be a liability.
It's a car, yeah, one that affects my life. But yeah, cool. But yeah.
But there's plenty more. This is the only things we can think of right now.
There's plenty more, absolutely. Now, how
if you have a drug habit, that's a problem.
Oh yeah, drugs.
If you like eating out too much, that's a problem.
Alcohol, yeah, all of this. Now, your gym membership, I count it as an asset because remember, your gym, you're paying it monthly, but you're getting benefits out of it. You're getting a value from it. So you can really count it as a liability. Now, unless you can like have a gym in your own house, then that becomes a liability. All right, cool. Now, how you go in to calculate it, or how I do approach it into that. Now, first, you need to pretty much list all your assets and list all your liabilities. What comes in middle will be everything that you own, regardless whether you don't know is an asset or it's not. So you calculate everything that you have, your stocks, investments, at the time. So you will put like the initial capital and also the gains that you have, the real estate that you bought or that you own, and then you start listing all the little items that you own. Now you don't have to be specific, but you can have in mind about like the average price that you can sell something that you own. Let's say my computer, I can sell, like if I go bankruptcy, I can sell this and get some cash for food. Or my clothes, I can just keep a pair or two, but I can sell the rest. Your bed, believe it or not, your bed, you can sell your bed and you can get profit of it. All of that you take, yeah. And you, to be honest, if you like on the streets, if you bankruptcy, I choose food over water than a comfy bed. All right.
For sure.
Yeah. So you got to think about this, that you are like in bankruptcy, like you have zero cash, or you maybe own cash. So boom. And all right, so you take and count everything that you see in your room, everything that is on your name, and you start adding up. All right. So that's going to be your assets and everything that you own that you're not sure whether it's an asset or something that you need, right? Something that you have or you own. Then in the other side, you have your liabilities. So start listing everything that you consider a liability, everything that you pay and you don't need. Also your debts. So if you own money, all that. If you have a student loans, you calculate that as well. And believe me or not, most of the times people at my age, they are going to end up on negative numbers. Why? Because we're college students. If you're taking loans, that's going to put you in negative number. And it's completely fine because that is your net worth. And knowing that that's your net worth is going to push you to kind of like work harder so you can pay off the debt and eventually make the red number into a green number. And yeah, so that's how you calculate it. That's why I calculate mine. And you want to do this at least once a year because it's going to change eventually. So you want to be aware of how much have you progressed, how much difference from last year, and you wanna be aware of this number because it's important. It's important that you are aware how much of cash. Now, money, material things at the end of the day doesn't matter because you can lose them tomorrow or you can get more things tomorrow. And then, but that is very important because it's the foundation to get into like a financial, mindset that you want to be, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward concept. Just make sure you try to accrue as many assets and reduce the liabilities as much as possible, and that's pretty much it. It's how you stay green and stay consistent.
Yeah, exactly. The goal is to have more assets than liabilities in your life. So you don't need the Gucci belt. You don't need the Michael Kors watch in your life. All of those are kind of wants rather than needs. So
yeah, for sure.
And you don't need to go Christmas shopping every year for new clothes and stuff like that. I barely shop, guys.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna see me with the same clothes, but a different variation of it, and that's because I don't go. I have clothes, so I don't need them.
Yep, that's it. Just don't buy into the consumer culture. Just buying stuff for the sake of buying.
Yeah,
because you never know when you're gonna actually need the money at some point.
Yep.
All right. Any news updates?
Sure. Cool. News. I got a few. Pot is trending right now. Fucking weird, my guy. I missed out. You told me yesterday about the ETF MJ, bro. I completely missed it out. It was 6% up. Yeah, it went up yesterday, like super more. And I do own Aurora cannabis, which kind of bump a little bit, but I wish I got into the ETF because the return was much higher on that one. Gold, I went kind of blindsided on this trade. I kind of didn't take my own advice, but I
so
lost
it always
money.
Happens. You make a plan, or like, you know what? I feel like my plan is shit.
Right.
And then you do the opposite thing, and then your plan comes to life, and then you're like, well,
it was so unexpected though. No, you didn't. No, you didn't mention about gold though, because we had this talk about gold.
No, I didn't. I wasn't even looking at gold.
Okay, but no. Okay, so what happened, guys, is that usually gold tends to trade down when the market is healthy, when the market is on green. And yesterday, it took me by surprise that they both the market and gold was trading highs. And so I bet against gold. So I lost most of my week's gains. So this week I kind of remain on my capital, which is cool. I'm still holding it so I can sell it for a fair price. But we'll see what happens. I'm glad that I didn't put all my eggs on the basket though, because if I was gonna go
you never should.
Yeah, exactly. But that small portion, I think it's like 40% of the capital that I use for like 100 shares. The thing is I bought like 100 shares, like 102 shares. So it kind of dropped really bad.
There's always ups and downs.
So that was a really bad trade in my hand. So the ETFs for gold that I trade is JNUG, so JNUG, and JSTD.
JDST.
JDST.
JSTD? No.
Yeah, what he said, DST. So those are kind of inverse of each other. Aside of that, earnings report came out yesterday. Very, very strong numbers. From fuck, I forgot. Hold on. From.
There was a lot of stuff. Qualcomm, right?
Yeah, Qualcomm. And I didn't look into Qualcomm.
It was a big one. It was up like 13%.
Yeah, it was a good one. Oh, Roku. I was keeping an eye on Roku and Square, which is kind of like Wix. Both is strong. End up on green. Oh, and the big winner, GM. This was definitely because of the Cybertruck that they come up with, but they jumped 5.4% yesterday.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah, very good. That's all my. Oh, it's still no president, but Biden took the lead on Georgia, which pretty much puts him in a winning position. We'll see what happens with all this controversy about the fake news and stuff that Trump was telling yesterday about. Chaos is coming, guys. But anyways, yeah, that's another topic for another day. What about you?
Yeah, I'll take it one day at a time. Yeah, for me, same thing. I'm still trading Neo. I don't know if you caught it yesterday, but when it highs of like 43.90 or something like that. So it really jumped.
Yeah,
it came back down. It's trading lower in the pre-market today, so that's good. So we'll see if I can get back in on that ship, because I don't think it's going to stop going up until some bad news comes out about the company. And given the fact that, one, it's in China, and two, it's being propped up by the Chinese government, I don't think any bad news will ever come out of it. I think this might be our next Zoom, but the electric car company.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's definitely a good chance.
We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. And also, what do you think about the market? Is it bearish or bullish? Seeing these past 2 days.
I feel like the only reason why it's going up is simply because we don't have a president. The moment we get a president, either side will cause the market to fall.
Correct. Yeah. We cannot predict.
That's my opinion.
We cannot predict, guys. Don't take it as a prediction. It's just our opinion, what we think might happen. But I agree with Randy. Right now, the fact that it's on green is because the uncertainty that people don't know whether it's gonna go red or blue, but also we're still waiting for the stimulus package to be approved by Congress, and hence somebody told me this. I don't know who told me this, but they planning to do it before next year, which will be really nice because our economy needs it, and the small businesses needs it more than anybody else. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell, and hopefully it gets better. But yeah, expect like a little drop from the heights that we have made so far in the near future. Cool. That was it, guys, for today. Thank you for following us. We have a constant audience of about 8 to 12 daily. I love that. I love seeing that. To be honest, I never expected so many people to listen to us, but it's a really reach. We surpassed that 100 listens on, I think it was Monday. But yeah, it was cool. And like I said, this is just for fun. So we don't really want, monetize will be nice, but we don't really have a monetize.
Well, these are conversations we would have regardless.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for listening, guys. Enjoy the weekend. And
take it easy. See you Monday.
Take it easy. All right, guys. Later.
Peace.